What's going on, everybody? Thanks to those joining me live and to those that'll be joining me on archive. DStyleBoxing here. All right, feel free to submit your questions at DStyleBoxing, or let me rephrase that. Feel free to submit your questions over at my email address, dstyleboxing@gmail.com. All right, um, feel free. Feel free to submit, private messages on my YouTube inbox. And if you're watching an archive, you can put them in the comment section. I will get to it. And just because I don't directly respond to every comment, it doesn't mean that I'm not reading them or that I'm not, taking, what people are saying. I may take a while, but I'll get to it. All right. Um, a lot of shit I've been wanting to talk about. But my YouTube time was really consumed by this Mayweather McGregor thing. But thanks to everybody that subscribed and to my channel and found my channel, and I feel privileged for even the week where I wasn't even active on YouTube. I had 17 subscribers. You know what I mean? Like, this is, what can I say? I feel humbled. Okay, but anyway, look. A couple of things here. A couple of things. This is a free Q&A. Feel free to leave questions, but let's start with this, and then we'll gateway to other stuff. We will, depending on what you guys ask. So it is an open forum. I'm gonna look at the chat in about 5 minutes here. Okay. Really quickly, man. Weight classes in boxing. Are the weight classes in boxing outdated? Oh my God. How can he say such a thing, D-Style? Look, I'm realistic, and I'm understanding, and I'm, and I understand that a lot of things, at least not in the short term, are going to change just because I say it here on the YouTube. You know what I mean? But this is an honest question. I'm not saying I have the answer. Okay, I'm not claiming that. So I hope people understand that. I'm not preaching here. Okay, I'm going to give you my opinion, but I'm open to being wrong, and I'm open to dialogue and thoughts here. Okay, that's I just want to start off by saying that. Okay, when it comes to this topic, like, I'm not here telling everybody this is the way it is. That's it. I'm going to give you my opinion. I feel strongly about it, but I can very well be wrong. Okay, and there's definitely people out there that are far more qualified to ask this, and maybe there's a lot of nuance to this. It's not an A and B thing. It's not a 1, 2, 3 thing. It's not an ABC thing. It's not a black and white thing. It's this requires dialogue. All right. A couple of things. So, and this is where I'm getting my logic from. Okay. So if you look at the average height, the average weight of a male, and we're going to stick to the males here, not so much females, so we don't have a lot of history with females, so like we do with the males. That's just the reality, right? If we look at the human being over the course, let's say, of the last century, since the Marquess of Queensberry rules are written down, right? Not like not like weight classes were, and we've kind of touched on that if you followed my channel for a while, and how weight classes even got started to begin with, right? But that aside, the average height, the average weight, whatever it is, right? And I understand it's more complicated than that. I understand there's a lot of obese people out there. I get all that, but it would just go by height here, and it would just go by, average size of a male. It's the human being has gotten bigger. Okay, that's just the reality, right? Now, one can argue on one side, well, look, that's true. That's why heavyweights today are just a lot bigger than the heavyweights from the 1910s, 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, or 1950s. Okay, probably bigger than ever now. But like an Anthony Joshua, like a specimen like that, just of that size just did not exist in when when boxing first started. I mean, guys like Primo Carnera at 6'4" were considered giants, right? And if you compared him to the guys he was fighting, he was a giant. So we can't ignore the fact that the average height, average size of a human being has gotten bigger over the years. We can't ignore that. Now, again, I fully understand that weight classes are there, and and the weight limits are there, and I understand that just because the average has changed, that doesn't mean that there isn't guys that are 147 pounders. That doesn't mean there's no guys that are 160 pounders. Point taken. I understand that, right? But here's my point, right? First of all, I personally feel and that there's way too many weight classes from 135 down. There's way too many weight classes. Way too many, right? Like, there's a problem when someone who starts at 106 pounds could become a 4 or 5 division champion, okay, and they're just separated by 10 pounds. So there's something wrong with that, okay? Something's not right. Like, somewhere along the way, too many in-between weight classes were added for sanctioning fees, okay? And we just have way too many of them. There's no reason weight classes should be separated by 2 pounds. There's just no reason for that. And somehow boxing along the way allowed that to happen, right? There's no reason that weight classes should be separated literally by a fucking bowel movement, okay? There's just no reason for that. That's taking a dump, by the way, okay? Right? There's just no reason. Boxing weight classes should be separated literally by a couple of pounds. That is astonishingly fucking ridiculous. And it's not just a concern of oversaturation of belts, oversaturation of fucking weight classes down there. It's also a safety concern. Most deaths in boxing don't happen in the heavyweight division, okay? Most deaths in boxing don't happen north of 135 pounds. They happen south of 135 pounds. Even though they don't hit as hard, even though they don't hit as vicious, even though there's not as many knockouts, which you can argue the accumulation of damage has a lot to do with that, right? Like I said, there's a lot of nuance to this, but also, and of course, across the board, I'm not saying nothing ever happens north of 135. I'm not saying that. But across the board, mismatches have a lot to do with deaths in boxing, okay? They're probably the number one culprit, but somewhere around number 2, number 1 is fighters that weight train themselves, dehydration, not having enough oxygen in their brain, and they go into a prize fight and they suffer a lot of traumatic punishment to the brain, okay, and causes deaths, right? And it can't be an accident that it's happening in these lower weight classes, and it can't be an accident that especially when you look at the weigh-ins and they look like skeletons. I mean, it is insane to me. All right, something has to be done about that. Obviously, we have to do stuff about mismatches as well. Okay, and that's something to look at across the board, right? But here's my thing, right? And even if you watch all those things, it's still dangerous. Deaths could still happen. I get all that, but we can limit it, right? To me, when I look at boxing, first of all, there's the heavyweight division. That's anything north of 200 pounds, right? That's the heavyweight division. For the last 40, 50 years, that really hasn't changed. That's pretty much been a heavyweight for that many decades, okay? The cruiserweight division is a relatively new division, right? Okay, that's one of the newest divisions out there, right? Especially if we don't count the juniors and the supers and all that bullshit, right? But for the longest time, cruiserweight was actually Not even at 200. That got bumped up at a certain point. Because it made no sense for guys weighing 190 pounds fighting dudes that weigh 250 pounds. That just made no fucking sense. All right. So they made the cruiserweight division, and I'm not going to act like I've seen a lot of, that I've been following the cruiserweight division forever, but over the years, there's been some interesting, cruiserweight fights out there that I've, and it's proven that it worked. Like moving it from, I forgot what it was. Was it 185? I forget, or 190, whatever it was. Moving it from there to 200. Okay, nothing really bad happened. And then, of course, from there, you have a weight class all the way to 175. And then from 175, you have a weight class at 168, and then 160, and 154. And then the lower you go, right, the less and less the weight classes are separated, right? And I understand, okay, that 1 pound to lightweight is far, it's a bigger deal than 1 pound to cruiserweight. I get that. But we have way too many weight classes, right? It's way too many. It's insane. But that aside, there seems to be this deserted valley north of 175. Like think of if you're a fighter that's struggling to make 175 pounds, right? And let's say you can't make 175 pounds anymore, but what you got to fight dudes that are all the way at 200 now. Okay, which is fine, but in the age of day before weigh-ins, in the age of guys having a lot of time to balloon up in weight, a lot of those cruiserweights weigh in at 200, okay, but they really come in at 210, 220, or they balloon up in weight too, right? So if you're a guy at 180, you're at a severe disadvantage, okay? So what's the solution? First of all, across the board, and I mean across the board, we need less weight classes, okay? This is my opinion. We need far less weight classes across the board, right? And this might not make sense to some people, but we need a few more weight classes on the higher ups, right? We need to cut, for every 2 we cut down there, we got to add 1 up here, okay? And we're talking from, north of welterweight, it's, and something I look at, okay, and how can anyone tell me they don't notice this, okay? Notice how in mixed martial arts, notice this, okay? They have heavyweight. Anything north of 205 is heavyweight, okay? I believe that I could be wrong about this, but I believe that they have a weight limit for heavyweight, right? I think it's like 260 or something like that. I forgot what it was, but like there's certain guys that have to cut weight to weigh in under that weight, I don't know. But nonetheless, anything over 205 is heavyweight. And then they have their light heavyweight division at 205, right? Now, 205, it's just kind of random to me. I heard Tito Ortiz say that they asked him what weight he felt comfortable at. He said 205, and that's what Tito Ortiz says. I don't know if that's true. Okay. But anyway, 205 is their light heavyweight division, which is basically our cruiserweight division, right? And then in the UFC, they have a weight class at 185, right? They have a weight class at 185. And that weight class, for them anyway, I mean, it produced Anderson Silva, Rich Franklin, right? I mean, it's one of their, most successful divisions today, right? So, and it seems to me like it works. Like having a weight class around the 180s works. It makes sense. It makes sense to have a weight class around the 180s. You know, it's why does boxing have it all the way to, how do you go from 200 all the way down to 175? How do you do that? Like, how does that happen? How do you go from like it doesn't make sense. Okay, how do you go from 147, right? Let's start there. Let's start at 147. From 147, you go to 154. This is how you know they made it up as they went, okay? 154, it's one of the junior divisions, okay? That's what it is, or super, or whatever. Super welterweight, junior middleweight, whatever, okay? It depends what sanctioning body, okay? Or light middleweight. It just depends who the fuck is sanctioning the fight, right? 154, 147. That's 8 pounds, okay? You go up 8 pounds, you have another division. Fine, fair enough, okay? And then from 154, you go to 160. How the hell do you go 8 pounds from 147 to 154, and then you only go 6 pounds from 154 to 160? When it's supposed to be separating the weights more as you move up. That makes no sense to me. And then, get this, you go from 160 to 168. All of a sudden, it's 8 pounds again, right? It's 8 pounds. From 160 to 168 is 8 pounds. Okay. And then you go to 175. I mean, that's 7 pounds. How do you go 8 and then 7 when you're moving up? You guys know that doesn't make sense. You know it doesn't make sense. You're separating 168 to 175 by less pounds than 160 to 168. And then you go from 175 to all the way to 200. It seems to me like boxing is, I honestly believe that there could be fighters out there that can benefit having a weight class around maybe 185. I really believe that's a weight class boxing should have. We need a weight class around 185 more than we need all those weight classes south of 126. Okay? We don't need weight classes separated by 2 pounds all the way down there. Like, you know, that's ridiculous. I don't believe any weight class should be, I agree that the lower you go, they should be separated by less pounds. I get that, okay? Science supports that. But the way they distribute it makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense. You go from 130 to 135, that's 5 pounds. 135 to 140, right? That's 5 pounds, okay. All right. Then you go from 140 to 147, 7 pounds. 147 to 154. 8 pounds. Okay, well, maybe that's making a little bit of sense. Well, 7 pounds, I'm sorry. Okay? But then you go from 154 to 160, 6 pounds. All of a sudden, we're going from 7 to 6 pounds. It's randomly like that. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. And the reason it doesn't make sense, okay? The reason it doesn't make sense because when the original 8 weight classes existed, okay, for the time they were perfect, okay? But then they decided to just add shit in the middle of all that, okay? And even though the lower weight classes were separated by less, they still put fucking divisions in the middle of it, right? Boxing needs, all right, to kind of revamp the weight classes a little bit. And in fact, I don't even think you have to move much. Okay, but if you look at heavyweight, okay, north of 200, fine. Cruiserweight, 200, fine. Okay? There's no reason, there's no logical reason, okay, why you go, okay, we're going to separate 160 to 168 by 8 fucking pounds. Okay? And we're going to separate 175 and 168, right, by less pounds than that. And then we're going to, fuck it. We're just going to go fucking 25 pounds over that. I mean, that's ridiculous. Okay, that's fucking insane. All right, that is crazy. So it seems to me like we need one more weight class between 175 and 200. No, but we don't want to add more weight classes. That weight class is needed. What we don't need is a bunch of little weight classes down there separated by 2 fucking pounds. That's stupid. That is insane. All right? If you go from 170 up, right? The UFC has 4 divisions. Boxing has 3, right? And for the longest time, that's all they needed, really. That's what they had for a while, and then they had it their lightweight, which is really our super welterweight. Okay, it's fucking insane, right? Their featherweight is basically our welterweight, right? But anyway, yes, we need weight classes separated by more pounds the higher up you go, but there's no reason you go from 7, you don't go from 8, then 7, then 25. That makes no fucking sense. Okay, that makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Let's open up the chat. I'm interested to know what you guys fucking think. All right. Boxing needs to adapt to the obvious changes happening, right? You know, there was a time where 175 was light heavyweight, right? But it made sense because at one point in human history, the heavyweight division had guys from anywhere from 180 pounds, 190 pounds fighting. Okay, those were their fucking heavyweights. So it made sense at a certain point. But that doesn't make sense anymore. Okay, so yes, at a certain point, when cruiserweight was basically where I'm asking for a division to be now, okay, it was in an age where heavyweights are starting to all of a sudden get a lot bigger, right? We need boxing to adapt to those times, you know, but what I'm saying is, now listen to what I'm saying. I'm not advocating for an overall, you know, just let's add one more weight class and end there. No. What I'm saying is we're missing a weight class there. That deserted island right there. That you're telling me that there's no such thing as a boxer who at somewhere around 185 pounds is at his best? Like a human being like that doesn't exist? Like the UFC has a whole fucking division around there, you know, but no, boxer, they're just not made for 185, you know? As a boxer, you know, if you're struggling to make 175, you're fucked. You got to go all the way to 200. That's fucking crazy. That's insane. Anyway, so open up the chat. I'm interested to know what you guys think. I really am. No, you want to add more weight classes? We don't need more weight classes, DStyle. Like I agree. You know, it's like that strange thing. I agree. We have too many weight classes. We just have the weight classes in the wrong spot. Okay. In our reality, you can narrow down boxing to like 12 weight classes max. You really don't need more than that. Okay. But you know, we don't need it's ridiculous, man. Like 106 and then 108, the 2 fucking weight classes. Get the fuck out of here. Okay? We don't need that shit. I'm still trying to open up the chat. Make sure you guys thumbs up the video, by the way. Right? Thumbs it up. Even if you disagree, thumbs it up. Let me know what you think. All right, let's open up the chat here to see what you guys put. Battler, there are too many belts. Well, I agree with that, you know, but we're focusing on 175 through 200. Boxing is a division between that, okay? Heavyweight needs to be split. No 210 guy should be fighting a 260 guy. Well, heavyweight is heavyweight. You know what I mean? I guess you can go like 210 for cruiserweight, maybe. I don't know. It's you know, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Man in water. There aren't even that many 260 plus pound fighters in the first place. Plus, all the best heavyweights ever are under 240. You know, the thing about heavyweight is, we'll talk about that right now. We'll talk about that right now. Let me go over some of these comments. Cable put, we only need nine divisions. The original 8 plus cruiser. It will never happen because that means sanctioning bodies don't have money. Then there'll be meaning to be a meaning to catch weight fights. Rascal to 154 and 168 were created for fighters who couldn't make 147 and 160. Now only 9 divisions are actually needed to cable. Original 8 plus cruiser. All the rest can go. They just be catchweight fights. Only belt and title should be the original 8 plus cruiser. All right, fair enough. Man in water. Cruiserweights are just lean heavyweights. Guys like Usyk would do very well as a heavyweight, and bums like Charles Martin would be 190 pounds if he lost his moves. Okay. Rascal says thumbs up, bro. Look, here's my thing, guys. Okay. I'll be all for, okay, let's narrow it down to 8 weight classes. But what I'm trying to make sure you guys understand, and you don't have to agree with this, by the way. I'm not saying I agree with me. You know, it's just my opinion. But we have to reformat the weights. You know, the weight classes are outdated. They're outdated. Right? That's my point. I don't mind if they're just being 8 weight classes, but we can't have, you know, just 2, 3 weight classes, you know, one way, and then all the red, like 6 of them one other way. Like that's not gonna work. All right. That just isn't gonna work. You know, we have to like here's my frustrating thing, right? Here's my frustrating part. So, and maybe I'm looking at this way too simplistic, and if I'm guilty, I'm guilty. Okay, fair enough. But if why, like here's what doesn't make sense. So if you take, let's say take a middleweight, right? A middleweight weighs 160 pounds, right? Vladimir Klitschko doesn't weigh double, does he? Of what he doesn't, right? Vladimir Klitschko doesn't weigh that much. He doesn't weigh over the fucking 300 pounds, right? So it's this idea that, while yes, there is a legitimate argument that if you get that a pound matters more to a middleweight than it does to a heavyweight. That's true, but not like 3 times more. Like, you know, that's just not the case. So we can do 8 weight classes. Okay, we can. But we have to revamp the way the weight classes are actually built, right? We have to actually re-examine where the weight classes are, right? We have to re-examine that. Like we honestly, we just do. Especially in a day before weigh-in era. Especially then, okay? We have to re-examine where the weight classes are, right? Like, you know, if you look at a welterweight in the 1940s, right, when they had same-day weigh-ins, in all reality, today, they would be a lightweight, okay? In all reality. Because the lightweights today step on the scale at 135, but then they balloon up in weight, and they're basically a welterweight on fight night. Okay, that's basically what lightweights are today. You know, so we have to kind of analyze these things, right? That's why when you watch old film and you watch some of those welterweights and they look kind of small, well, that's because they were actually welterweights. you know, and also the culture in boxing was just different, right? It was just different. The way fights were approached was different. Okay. There was no such thing as weighing on the dot. You know, very few fighters did that. If the weight limit was 147, a welterweight the day of the fight could weigh in anywhere from 136 to 147. Okay. I mean, it just depends whether they wanted to have more speed in the fight, whether they wanted to have more power, a combination of both, depending on the opponent they were fighting. Okay, all those factors played in, kind of like they do in heavyweight today. In today's boxing, the science behind it, I'm not saying it's inferior. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying the science behind it is different. Okay, if you approach a fight like that today, okay, the way they did in the olden days, you're just gonna find yourself outweighed by fucking 20 pounds. That's all you're gonna fucking. That's all that's gonna fucking happen. Right. So you have to step on the scale, and then balloon up in weight. Okay. Very few fighters actually do it the old school way. Okay. Mayweather, Pacquiao. There's one of the very few fighters that I could think of right up off the top of my head that actually go into fight night weighing anywhere close to what they weighed at the fucking weigh-in. Right. Those are fighters that wouldn't have a problem with same day weigh-ins, right? But that's that's different. Now, if you look at like all bullshit aside, I'm all for okay, fine, 8 weight classes. I'm all for it. Nine weight classes, but we have to re-examine where the weight classes are. Like we have to re-examine that, right? We cannot have, all right, 175 and then 200. Like we can't have that. That's ridiculous. Because how the fuck can you go from 160 to 168? I guess you would get rid of 168, but you go from 160 to 175. That's 15 pounds, and then you're going to have a jump to 25 pounds. It just seems to me that you can get rid of some of those weight classes separated by 2 pounds, and I honestly believe that if we were to create a weight class around the 185 limit, right, I think it would work. I really do. Okay, I think it would be a far more effective, a far more entertaining division than what you're seeing. Okay, at fucking 108 pounds, right? Well, 106 pounds and 108 pounds. Like, are you shitting me? We don't need that. There's way too many weight classes right now. And even if you were to go back to, like, let's say 9 or 10 weight classes, we have to re-examine where the weight classes are. Because a lot of the original 8, they're outdated. That's my opinion. These weight classes made sense at one point in human history, but as the average height, the average weight of the human being is constantly going up, all right, we had to readjust these weight classes. Cable says you don't quote unquote go all the way up. It's just the limit. So to that point, let's go back to same day weigh-ins. If you're at your best at 185, fight at 185. But there aren't too many boxers to do that. No, there isn't. First of all, you're going to have to change the mentality of people. There's people still stuck on this. The only way to do it is the same day before weigh-in. And I'm not saying they don't have any good points, but a lot of dudes will drain themselves. There will be a lot of issues, and then some fighters going to end up getting hurt because they were just dehydrated, and they're going to blame it on same day weigh-ins, and it's going to be a hell of a obstacle to go back to same day weigh-ins. All right, Man in Water says good point. I see what you're saying, and it says, "Oh, trust me, I know for a fact." And Rigo, I think that was a response to Man in Water, said the weight classes come from a time when they didn't have HGH in the food. Well, I don't know, what are you gonna do? All right, Zach Hicks, I like the weight classes. I don't think it's out of date. It's a sport, man. All right, you don't think they're out of date? All right, Man in Water, what's Monsanto doing in the food? Oh boy, we're starting to dive into a lot of other shit here. Ex batter Ricardo Lopez was 105 forever. It was ridiculous that 108 was a different class. Yeah, 105 to 108. Like it's why is that separated by 3 pounds? Yet if you go all the way up to 160, we're separating it by 7 pounds, and then all out of nowhere we jump 20 pounds. That is ridiculous to me. Like it's got to make sense across the board. Okay, it's got to make sense across the board. What am I missing, guys? What is DStyle missing? What am I missing? Right? I love boxing. I want what's best for boxing. That's what DStyle wants. Okay? I agree. We have too many weight classes. We're having a discussion about that. But just because I believe that overall boxing has too many weight classes, it doesn't mean I can't see a deserted island for north of 175, right? I can, I believe that a weight class at 185, I honestly believe this, would make a lot of sense. I think that's a healthy weight class. I don't foresee a lot of weight training or anything like that in that weight class. And I believe a weight class right there would make sense. Okay. Any weight class you could think of, aside from heavyweight, there's going to be fighters that are barely making that weight. And there's guys at 175 who have a hard time making that weight, and they would benefit, having a division at 185. All right. There's going to be guys that are too big for 175 and too small for 200, right? It's insane to me. Like and I'm using the UFC as an example because although I'm obviously a bigger fan of boxing, but I do watch UFC here and there. But I know that a guy they call their best fighter of all time fought at 185, right? It's an active division that they have right now. It's insane. Like if you were to tell someone who follows MMA, hey, we're going to get rid of 185. We're just going to have welterweight, their welterweight, 170, and then 205, right? Let's see where to tell them that. They would be like, are you fucking crazy? You're going to get rid of 185? Why? Oh, don't worry. We'll move 170 to 175. We'll do it like they do it in boxing, right? All that potential, all these fighters where that weight class makes sense, all of a sudden, they're either going to have to weight train themselves to their welterweight division or fight dudes that are just a lot bigger than them at 205, okay? And that's a situation that we don't see it in boxing because these are stories we don't know about, right? DStyleBoxing is demanding a weight class of 185 in boxing. That's what I'm doing, right? But in this bill, I'm also requesting that some of the lower weight classes are also abolished, and for first of all, oversaturation and also safety reasons. Okay, we don't need that many weight classes. We don't need weight classes separated by 3 pounds. We just don't. Okay, there's a weight class separated by 2 pounds. Get the fuck out of here. Okay, we don't need that. We just don't. Right? We don't need a weight class where literally if you go take a piss, all of a sudden you're in the lower weight class. We don't need that. Okay? And you may think, oh, you're being sarcastic. No, like literally. It is crazy. Right? If you have a double meat burger, that's half a fucking pound. So if you have a burger and fries, you're almost at another fucking weight class. That is insane. Okay? Let's read some more comments. Batter says we need a more logical standard. Cable. There was a time in codified boxing history when the weight of the division were changed before. Yes, that's correct. That's true. Middleweight went from 154 to 160. Man, what? I agree with you. 185 would be a good division. Zach Hicks, please don't use the UFC as an example. Why not? I mean, it's a combative sport. Why wouldn't I use it as an example? Axe Batter, 185 works. It's far enough from heavyweight to discourage guys from bulking up to heavyweight money. Cable, MMA openly changed their weights and rules to match the times, though. It's not that the UFC is an example, but rather the dogmatic thinking in boxing overall needs to be addressed. Still, 50 divisions aren't needed in boxing, only 9 divisions. Well, I don't think we have 50, but I'll knock on fucking wood that we don't end up with fucking 50 divisions, okay? Now, granted, one might say, hey, D-Style, if you have your way, D-Style, we had a fucking division at 185, right? D-Style, if we had a division at 185 and they don't get rid of any of the lower divisions, then you're just adding another fucking division to boxing, okay? Let me tell you something, guys, and I mean this. If we get a division at 185, like all bullshit aside, okay, I honestly believe that will be a very successful division. I honestly believe that, okay? Because first of all, that is 185 makes sense. That is a healthy weight, okay? That it makes sense. It just does. It's amazing to me that we're losing so much potential, right? I'm pretty sure, right, that there's been fighters that can't make 175, right? They're not very good at 200 because they're too small. Like, I'm sure of it. There's no way that human beings in 2017 wouldn't be competing in boxing at 185 pounds. There's just no way. There's going to be guys at 185 fighting, right? And I guarantee you they're going to be bigger names than guys at 105, okay? Or 106, whatever, right? Well, what is it? Whatever the fuck it is, right? I could guarantee it to you. So even if they don't remove some of the lower weight classes, even though, yes, we're adding but we're adding irrelevant weight. It's going to make sense. We need a weight class at 185. We need one. Boxing needs to get with the times. We need a weight class there. We really do. Right? Well, what they call it, I don't fucking know. Well, what the fuck do you call it? Fucking, I don't know. What the fuck would they call that weight class? I have no idea what they would fucking call it. Right? You guys have any suggestions in the chat? Any suggestions in the chat? Let me know. Let D-Style know. Okay, light cruiser? Light cruiserweight? I don't fucking know. We got to give it a good name. Super duper middleweight? I don't know. All right? We can't super it. Super light heavyweight? Like, I don't know. It sounds kind of corny. I've always thought the whole super thing sounds corny as shit. I've always thought that. Okay? It's I've always, like, super middleweight. Get the fuck out of here. What does that mean? You're the Superman of the middleweights or what? Like, get the fuck out of here. All right? And the juniors, it's like, I don't know. I've never been a fan of that. Let's see. Batter says one reason MMA has fewer divisions It's because it's not as old as boxing. Right? Semi-heavyweight. Oh my God, what a horrible. We got to come up with a name for this shit. I don't know what the fuck you would call the weight class, but they'll have to figure it out. I can agree there, says Cable. They use amateur boxing weight classes, but it still doesn't satisfy a 185-pound weight class. Boxing added, but now needs to subtract, but it's hard to change, says Axe Battler. Well, boxing has to do something about those weight classes, man. Look, I'll be back in the chat, but let me pull up all the weight classes. Isn't it insane when somebody who fucking watches boxing can remember all like the exact weights of every weight class down there? And how many boxing fans can name me the pounds of every weight class down there without Googling it? Okay? I know there'll be a lot of dudes that are going to Google it and be like, I knew all along. All right. Okay, let's check it out here, okay? We're going to go weight classes in boxing, all right? Weight division. I'm going to go to the box rec here so we can check this shit out, okay? First of all, let's go over the weight classes here. This shit's insane, man. I swear to God. Check this shit out. Minimum weight, 105 pounds. Minimum weight, 105 pounds. Light flyweight, 108 pounds. Right? Separated by 3 pounds. Okay? Now start noticing the inconsistencies. And it's always in the lights or the anytime there's light before anything, super before anything, junior before anything, or weight classes that they just put in the middle of all the original 8, okay? Flyweight, 112 pounds. That's separated by 4 pounds from the division south of it. But then look at this bullshit, okay? Super flyweight, 115 pounds. All of a sudden, we go from, how the hell do you go 105 to 108 is 3 pounds. 108 to 112 is 4 pounds. And then you go 3 pounds north, 115. Bantamweight, 118. You go up 3 pounds. Why does the 108 pounder have to move up 4 pounds, but the 118 pounder has to move up 4 pounds? Because 118, you go to 122. And from 122, you go to 126. Okay? Finally, from 126, you go to 130. Right? We're still at 4 fucking pounds. They've been consistently moving up 4 pounds, all those weight classes. And then you go from 130 to 135. Now we're going up 5 pounds, right? Now remember that from 108 to 112, they have to move up 4. And then they went up 3. All of a sudden they go 3 and then they go 4 again. I mean, it's insane. From 130 to 135. From 135 to 140, right? 5 pounds. And then they go to then they go 7 pounds, so 147. And then 147 to 154, they go 7 again. Out of nowhere, from 154, they go to 160, 6 pounds. All of a sudden, we're moving up less pounds. That's crazy. Then from 160, we go to 168, 8 pounds, right? Well, I'm sure it's going to be 8 or more when you go up, right? No, you go from 168 to 175. All of a sudden, you go up 7 pounds. You're going up less. Even though the mass is greater, and the science shows that the higher in weight you go, okay, the less impact the pound has. We're moving up less pounds. And then out of nowhere, you go from 175 to 200. Out of nowhere, it's just that's crazy, right? That's nuts. Sorry, guys, that's nuts. That's just crazy. Someone's saying call it the D-style weight class. I don't know if that's a good name for a weight class. Just damn, that's hard. People trying to figure it out. Former cat twitch are now divisions themselves. Yes, they are. Cable named some weight classes here. Well, you guys, some of you are you're a little off here and there, but it's okay. All right. 105 to 112. You forgot some weight classes there. Afro Rican. You forgot some weight classes. All right. You forgot 100, 105, 108. Right. Anyway. Median straw weight. I mean, you know, it's what are you gonna do? I thought that's minimum weight. No, that's minimum weight, bro. Check it out. Minimum weight is 105 pounds, but so mini flyweight basically. But you're right that they are missing 100. But anyway, if they're recently get rid of straw weight or what? The fuck's going on? Well, why would you go from 100 to 105? Why does a guy at 100 need to move up 5 pounds? Okay, that makes no sense. These are the original 8 weight classes, by the way, right? The traditional 8 was flyweight, 112 pounds. Bantamweight, 118. Featherweight, 126. Lightweight, 135. Welterweight, 147. Middleweight, 160. Right? Light heavyweight, 175. Heavyweight, unlimited. Right? Now, there was just too many weight classes that were added here, man. Let me see this article really quick. There was plans to revise boxing's weights back in 1909. All right? Now, I don't know. 1909, Los Angeles Herald, the necessity for revision in the universal weight divisions. All right? I'm probably going to read. I don't have time to read it right now. I'm going to read that article. I'm just interested to know what the fuck that's about. But I do know this. In my opinion, I'm not saying I'm right about this, but what I am saying is that in my opinion, we need to revise the weight classes. Okay. Um, 185. Like we could call it. We got to come up with a name before I go. Okay, we got to come up with a name for 185 pounds. Okay. Got to figure it out. Tank weight. I don't know how would that sound. Like you gotta. It's like when Michael Buffer or Jimmy Lennon Jr. say it. Like it's got to sound good. You know, like you can't. And this is for the tank weight championship of the world. Like, I don't know about that. You know what I mean? It doesn't quite ring well. You know? Now, what's crazy is, regardless, tank weight, it might grow on people. Like, you think like bantamweight, like if you invented a weight class called bantamweight today, like people would, oh, come on, it sounds ridiculous, but we're just so used to it. You know? Light cruiser, maybe. Carrier weight. Who knows what you would call it, man? I kind of like the name cruiserweight, but obviously you can't call it that, right? But interested to know, what will we call that weight class? Come on, give me some names. Tank weight, carrier weight. Do we put a super in it? Super light heavyweight? That doesn't sound that good, does it? It doesn't sound that good. Junior cruiserweight? Eh. I guess you can go junior cruiserweight. Maybe, no? Maybe. It's the only division that doesn't have a junior. Everybody else is a fucking junior. Bazooka weight. Well, I mean, why bazooka weight? Like, are we going to name it after a gun or what? Medium weight. Junior is the safest name. Junior cruiser. Junior cruiserweight. Light cruiserweight. Diamond weight. Like, what's the fucking WBC called? The diamond weight. Okay, fucking at this fucking weight, at this rate. Fiasco weight. Oversaturation weight. No. This is the last weight class we ever created. We promise weight. You know, fucking knows. Junior heavyweight. Well, it can't be junior heavyweight because you have a light heavyweight. That's basically what light heavyweight is. And then you have cruiserweight. You know, so it's like one of those things. You could call 185 cruiserweight, and then you could call 200 super cruiserweight. You know, fucking knows, right? But anyway, guys, either way, the name could be, we could figure out the name, right? But nonetheless, 155 is Canelo weight. 164.5 super Canelo weight. Oh man. Holy shit. Well, there you go. He ain't gonna fight a Canelo weight soon enough, though. He's gonna. It's so. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Gennady Golovkin fights at 160, right? It's not a catch weight. Can somebody confirm that for me before I get pissed off? It's at 160, right? I don't know, man. It's hard to it really is hard to just create names for weight classes, you know. Right, it's 160. Like I wonder, like we're so used to like welterweight. We're so used to it. By the way, to me, in my personal opinion, welterweight is the coolest sounding weight class. That's my opinion. I don't know why. Just like welterweight champion. Like, but I don't know. Is it because we grew up with it? You know, like because we grew up with these names like bantamweight and lightweight, and you know, us growing up with these names and knowing these names our whole lives we're so used to it that it just sounds right. You know, regardless, whatever the fuck you call 185, if they were ever to create it. Okay, I'm not even saying it's likely, right? It's very unlikely. But if they were ever to create it, I mean, whatever name they give it, it's gonna take us a while to even get used to it. You know, whatever the hell that it's named, it's gonna take us a while to get used to that name. Bantam is a small chicken. Yeah, I know. By the way, guy, I don't know. A lot of you guys have not been subscribed to me a long time, but if you get a chance, I have a video. What did I title the video? It's like a 3-4 minute video. So, that's when I actually bothered to like do videos and I just come on live and shit. The best weight class in boxing, something like that. What the fuck is that video called? Right? But give my take on why welterweight is the best division. Okay. Let me see if I can search it really quick before I start telling everybody. And I'm too lazy to scroll through my channel, so. It's the best division in boxing. Yeah. The video is titled Welterweight is the best division in boxing. That's what it's titled, right? Again, welterweight is the best division in boxing by DStyleBoxing. Check it out, okay? And I think you guys will like that video if you never saw it, right? Welter's an archaic word nowadays, yeah. Bantam, like imagine you made up a division called Bantam. And I guess you can like take like an animal, you know, like an animal from the wild, you know, and kind of name the division after that, 185. But you have to find a name that is people aren't dead as, you know, you're not gonna call it cub weight, you know what I mean? But something associated with an animal, like a medium-sized animal, you know, a vicious animal though, killer, you know, like not jaguar weight, you know, but something like that. Okay, jaguar weight, no, that doesn't work. Lead weight, leopard weight. Cobra weight, no. Boar weight. An animal will stick out. An animal, like there's gonna be an animal that will stick out. All right. Maybe get like a Latin name of it or something. You can't go wrong with Latin. You know, like can somebody search the Latin word for like a lion? Let's see. Leo weight. No, I don't know about that. I don't know about that shit. What about tiger in Latin? Tigris. No, I don't know about that shit. Maybe this Latin thing ain't working out. It isn't working out. Never mind. But we can figure it out. Maybe a Greek term for like a medium-sized animal, you know, something like that. Tank weight. It's new. Like maybe after 2-3 years, we'll just get so used to tank weight, you know. Fucking knows. DStyleBoxing is going to start pushing for this 185-pound division, and I ain't shit, but if somebody who is shit picks up on it and starts pushing it, you know, you never fucking know. It might go somewhere. And you really think, like, why would the sanctioning bodies be against it? Now, a lot of boxing, I'll tell you, a lot of boxing, no more divisions. I know there's going to be a lot of resistance, but it would be exciting. Like, is anybody not going to be excited? Like, if there's a division at 185 and they do like maybe a tournament or something like that, like, fuck it. Like, you know, fuck it. I'm just saying. Anyways, guys, maybe 200 could be tank weight. There you go. Right? Tank weight. It's fucking hilarious. Tank weight. Liger weight. Tiger weight. No. A tiger weight champion. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Anyways, guys, shoot me some questions if you want. I'm going to be here for about, let's see, it's top of the hour, 14 minutes right now. At top of the hour is 25 minutes. I'm out of here. So 11 more minutes, DStyle's out. So whatever questions you want to shoot at me, feel free and shoot me some questions. Mustang, Stallion. The Stallion weight, no, it's got to match weight. Mustang weight, horse weight, Titan weight. Titan weight. They're Titan weight. Fuck it. Did you get that because I say Greek, or they just come up with that? The Titan weight champion of the world. Hey, I actually like that. I actually like Titan weight. I really do. I actually like Titan weight. But I actually like it. I really do. Remember the Titans. Pony weight. Well. That's what I think Anthony Joshua would refer to. Like, oh yeah, Mustang, freaking ponies over there. Thoroughbred weight. No. All right. Let's see. Kovalev Stevenson at 185. Man, that's a hell of a fight. I've always believed Kovalev would beat Stevenson. Stevenson's too much of a one-handed fighter, man. I always call him no hook Stevenson, but it's a tough fight. It's a tough fight. But I want to see Stevenson against Ward, to be honest. You know, but I'm down for either way. Titan weight sounds very Greek. It works too. I like Titan weight. I actually do. I actually like Titan weight. All right. Am I still picking Triple G to beat Canelo? A video this week, guys. I'm gonna do a video this week, and then we'll go from there. No, I have not given my official prediction, Axe Battler. I have not done that yet, but it will be coming this week, I promise. What weight classes are unnecessary? Hulk Hogan brother is asking. Okay. So look. If we look at boxing, okay? What weight classes are unnecessary? Like, if you want to start at 105, 105 is ridiculous, okay? Like, that's ridiculous. No human being should be fighting 105, okay? That is insane to me. 105 pounds, guys. 105. Okay. My 5'2" sister weighs more than that. Okay. That's insane. And my sister's like, I think, what is she, like 118, something like that? It's like, that's insane. I'm sorry, it's insane. Like, who weighs south of that? Like, what human being weighs south of that? Just my opinion. You know, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that's my opinion. I'm open to be enlightened, you know, but that's crazy to me. I would start at 110 pounds. That's where I would start. 110 pounds, first division, right off the bat. No need for 105, no need for 108. Okay, we're starting at 110. Okay, so the flyweights at 112. Okay, we got 110, and then I would go to 115 from there. Okay, from there I would go like to maybe 120. Right. From there I would then go to like 126, and then 130, then 135. I'm fine with 140, 147, and then I would maybe do 155, right? And then I would examine middleweight. I know that's going to be very controversial because middleweight has been a darling of divisions for decades. Okay, nobody wants to monkey with it, but we cannot have weight classes. We can have welterweight, okay, be separated by less to junior welterweight, super welterweight that is, and then have middleweight, only separated by 6 pounds. Like we can't have that. You can't go 7 up and then 6 up. It's got to make sense. That's all I'm saying, right? Super middleweight, lightweight, like we've got to re-examine those a little bit. That's all that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying get rid of them, re-examine them, right? We need a weight class around the 180s, okay, 185, somewhere around there, and then of course 200, and then heavyweight. Just my opinion, okay. Well, what would I get rid of? I mean, in the lower weight classes, I got rid of minimum weight, okay. I got rid of junior flyweight, and flyweight, I put it at 110, instead of 112, right? I mean, I got rid of 2 weight classes. I revamped one of them to make more sense when you go up to super flyweight, right? Fine. But I got overall about 3 or 4 divisions would be scrapped, right? Right off the bat, I would scrap 3 or 4 divisions at the least. And that's me being very kind and doing this very impromptu, right? Okay, but Ward versus Stevenson at tight weight. Good way to see if Ward can go to heavy. Oh, there you go. Man in water. Yeah, some guys are tiny. Well, there is tiny guys. I get that, guys. But how many of those guys on Earth, okay, on planet Earth? Like, really? In fact, let's do this, okay? Let's look up minimum weight, right? We're going to look up minimum weight right now. It's insane. I'm sorry, guys. They could fight at a weight class at 110-pound limit. Come on, okay? Like they can. Get the fuck out of here. That's insane. All right. If I'm missing something, feel free to leave input. But I don't think we need weight classes there. We just don't. I get it. If we go from 154 to 157 to, I understand that there's a lot of history at 160. Like I get that, and if we don't want to move 160, fine. Okay, but something's got to give. Like we can't have 147 where it is and 160 where it is, and then put a weight class in the middle. Like I guess because it's just, I don't know. That's just my opinion, right? Put it at 153, right? 153. Fuck it. Then it's separated by 7 pounds, right? To put it 153. Why is he at 153? Why 154? But anyway, um, anything else? Anything else? All the 5 foot tall guys. Now, is middleweight, is it the name that's historical? Or is it really the 160-pound on the dot limit? Because I can go back in history where they called middleweight title fights at south of 160. Like, you know what I mean? So it's not like it's always been at 160. Like, you know what I mean? So I think the word middleweight, that's what has history, and in modern times, especially, I mean, in an era of day before weigh-ins, whatever, man. Like, we could move it a couple pounds. Just get rid of 154. I mean, we have a lot of history at 154. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. It's getting late, but I want to thank to everybody that joined me here. Make sure you thumbs up the video, okay? And I appreciate your guys' time. All right, this was fun, and and just me exploring shit. That's all this is, okay? I'll let you know what you guys think, okay? Axe Batter, do you view Robin Black's videos as comedy like I do? I think I'll let MMA fans give a more accurate description on what they think, what Robin Black's knowledge in MMA is. I'll let them decide that. Okay, I'm pretty sure he knows a lot about MMA, but he doesn't know a lot about boxing. Okay, he I'll say that he expects change to happen in boxing like it does in MMA, but boxing's a lot older than MMA. It's a lot more refined than MMA. It's been around a lot longer than mixed martial arts as we know it today. Uh, there's been Vale Tudo around for a very long time, but mixed martial arts as we know it today, right? That freestyle fighting is very new. It's very new, and you can go back in boxing. You can go back to the 80s, right? That is 3, 4 decades ago. And honestly, there's fighters in the 80s that are better than some of the fighters today. Like it's debatable, and in my opinion, in the 80s there were better boxers, okay? But if you go back in MMA 5 years, you see a dramatic improvement. That's because it hasn't been around that long. Of course it's improving. Of course it's in a development age right now, right? Boxing's been around for a very, very long time, so all I'll say about Robin Black is that I don't think he understands boxing, and it's pretty clear he doesn't. You know. Okay, Man in Water put. That's actually what I. Thank you for looking that up, because I was looking that up and I gave up and I was like, fuck it. But he put on BoxRec there are only 284 fighters at minimum weight and 1,998 at lightweights. Now, Man in Water, since you're doing the work here, all right, we're gonna put Man in Water to work. How many fighters is there at light heavyweight? Light heavyweight. How many fighters? Cable says I was wrong, by the way. There's no 100-pound weight class. Straw is minimum weight. I guess that's why I mixed it up. Well, different names and all that. Okay. I thought there was a 106 weight class. I don't even fucking know why, but I think I got the 106 from the whole Pacquiao started at 106 pounds. So I thought, oh, so he started at, you know what I mean? But so look at this, guys. Okay, look, there's over 1,000 boxers at light heavyweight. Okay, 1,000. There are 284 at minimum weight. All right. It's never too late to shit on Americana. You could shit on Americana any day, right? But anyway, how many boxers at cruiserweight? We're putting man in water to work here, right? He didn't even get paid for this shit. But, right. 1,069 fighters at light heavyweight, guys. 1,069, right? There's more active bodies at light heavyweight than at minimum weight. I want people to understand that. Almost 5 times as many, right? So just think about that. Cruiserweight, 1,223. That actually surprises me. I thought it was going to be less than that, but fine. And one more. I'm gonna make the division above minimum weight. How many people are in that division? It's fascinating. Also, I looked at I got too lazy and I didn't want to do it. But there you go. So from 175 to 200, we have over 2,300 bodies, basically. Okay, 2,300 bodies between those two weight classes. Like I'm telling you, there is a desert right there in the 180s. 466 at light flyweight. So we are accommodating weight classes that have combined less than 1,000, right? Yet two weight classes that have far more bodies in them, right? So my hypothesis that there's more human beings that are going to be, around the 180s than at 105, 112. Okay, that's just the facts, right? It just helps support my theory. Okay. In fact, let me take snapshots of this shit. I don't have the patience to look the shit up sometimes. So. Right. So at the end of the day, I think it makes sense, guys. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. All right. Shout out to Man in Water. Right. And there you go. Okay. Everybody's saying, "Oh, come on, those little guys, they need weight classes." There's only like 200 of them fighting in the world, but that's insane, right? A lot of these little weight classes, they don't have a lot of bodies in there. There's not as much competition down there, right? But anyway, then again, I'm taking a small sample. I'm only looking at 2 weight classes. Fair enough. Okay. I'll do a more comprehensive video at a later date. But I wanted some of you guys' input and stuff like that. So there you go. This is always fun. Right? I'm going to go ahead and call it a day here, guys. I really am. Right? Thanks to all you guys for joining me in the chat. Thanks for the boxing talk. And let me know what you think. Shit. Do some videos out there. I want to know what you think. This is DStyleBoxing. I'm out of here. Peace.